Nowadays, organizations handle vast amounts of data spread across multiple systems. But what happens when we don't know where the data is, who created it, or whether it's reliable? Without proper governance, information becomes fragmented, valuable time is wasted searching for it, and decisions are made on inaccurate or incomplete data. I am Mark Spin, Principal Consultant and Data Architect here at ClearPix, and I'd like to welcome you to the third episode of the Architecting Data Solutions with Microsoft Fabric series. This series is designed to help you understand how to create scalable and well-governed data solutions within the Microsoft ecosystem. In the first episode, we explore the medallion architecture patterns, and in the second episode, we cover the security and Fabric workspace organization. Both episodes are available on our channel if you like to catch up. To stay updated on future insights, make sure to subscribe. Today, in this third episode, we'll focus on how Microsoft Purview addresses the challenges we just said. As you can see in the agenda for today, I will handle the introduction part and then hand over to Ivan, who will lead the demo. So let's start. But before diving into Microsoft Purview, we need to take a moment to understand what a data catalog is and why it's a fundamental component of any data strategy. Although we could obviously spend hours discussing data catalogs in general terms, we can say they are composed by two main types of assets, the technical data assets and the business assets. The technical data assets include elements such as the data transformations, for example, ETL, the data storage, a database, and the data consumption tools, for example, the dashboard. The business assets, in the other hand, focus on aspects like the business terms, the policies and processes, the applications and system glossaries, which provide important context for non-technical users. These assets are enhanced through metadata enrichment, adding value by defining ownership, relationship between entities, and classifications. This ensures that the catalog remains up-to-date, compliant, and adapted to the organization needs. Over time, the data catalog evolves. New assets are added, the enrichment process improves, and even the consumers, such as the data owners, the stewards, the governance teams, and the auditors, play an active role in maintaining and enriching the catalog. If you want to know more about all these concepts, you can find several articles in our website about data governance, data catalog, or data excellence. So let's focus on the tool that Microsoft Fabric offers to address these challenges, that is Purview. Microsoft Purview is a comprehensive data governance platform that helps organizations safeguard their data infrastructure. It provides tools to discover, govern, and manage data across on-premises systems, multi-cloud environments, and software as a service applications. Its capabilities are divided into three key areas. The data security that offer robust solutions to identify and protect sensitive data, including modules for data loss prevention, information barriers, and privileged access management. Then the risk and compliance that helps organizations to reduce compliance risks and meet regulatory requirements through features like the audit trail, the e-discovery, and the compliance monitoring. And finally, the data governance that enables unified governance by ensuring data quality and consistency across the entire data landscape, supporting compliance and operational efficiency. Let's focus on this point, and it will be the centerpiece of our demo. In this session, we will focus on these three key features of Microsoft Purview. The data map that scans and tags all your data sources, helping you create a comprehensive and organized map of your data landscape. It identifies sensitive information automatically, enabling organizations to address compliance requirements while gaining a better understanding of where the data is and how it's being used. It lays the foundation for data governance by organizing your assets effectively. The data catalog that empowers organizations to curate, secure, and govern their data effectively. By providing a centralized repository of enriched metadata, it ensures data integrity, support collaborations, and helps unlock business value by making data more accessible and insightful. It helps manage data integrity and unlock business value by providing clear insights into the data you already have. And the roles and permissions that allow organizations to define who can access, manage, or edit specific data assets, By assigning clear responsibilities and permissions, organizations can maintain data security, enforce governance policies, and ensure compliance with regulatory requirements. So let's move on to the practical demonstration part with Ivan. So Ivan, all yours.
Thank you, Mark. Before starting with the demo, let's look in more detail at the concepts of data map, data catalog, and security roles. First, looking at data map, we can see a hierarchical representation from left to right. At the top of the level of data map by structure, we have domains that encompass the entire structure we'll create for importing data. Domains are assigned. We have one main default domain and can create up to 4 additional domains. These act as containers that can hold the collections and assets we'll use in our data catalog. Then we create collections manually to organize data sources, and assets across business units. They can represent departments, for example. Collections can have up to 8 levels of depth, meaning we can create collections within collections. This helps us to classify data effectively at security levels and organize by business structure. Within collections, we define connections to data sources, such as data lakes, databases, Microsoft Fabric, and other systems through predefined connectors in Purview. We can register these data sources within the collections and scan their content. And when we have this scan running, we create the data sets that represent a more granular level, that they include the database tables, the files like CSV, JSON files, or other scan content that we have. These are the direct results of our scanning process. And at the lowest level of this hierarchy, we have columns which carry specific meanings and are obtained through scanning and metadata extraction. This entire structure serves to organize and manage all the data assets from the highest level of domains down to the individual columns. Then this slide shows the 4 key components of Microsoft Purview Data Catalog, arranged in a logical flow. This structure shows how Purview organizes and manages data assets from governance to specific data elements, enabling comprehensive data management and discovery. Governance domain represents the highest level organization for data governance. It establishes boundaries for common governance, ownership, and discovery. Enable the domain owners to manage data products and concepts within the area, and control access rules and distribution policies. Provides a framework for consistent data management across the organization. Then the data products are curated collections of related data assets that group assets under a specific business use case, include names and descriptions and designated owners, and are managed within a single domain, but discoverable across multiple domains. We can create a data products that uses or other data products data and things like this, and help us to organize the data for a specific business purposes or applications. At the data map level, we see that we have a more technical point of view about data. And here we are thinking on how we use or for what we are using this data. Inside the data product, we can use the glossary terms, that it's the business vocabulary, and we can define key business concepts, processes, and systems, and map these data products to provide business context. This allows us to support standardized terminology across the organization and enable to have better data discovery and understanding. And finally, we have the critical data elements, CDE, that represent the most important data points in your organization. The different groups of critical columns across different data sources, because I have an employee that it can be a commercial, that it's making sales, but I have the employee, and this employee, I can have it or found it in the payroll system, in the HR CRM, and in the sales data warehouse. It helps us to maintain data quality standards and provide special monitoring and protection for sensitive data. These four components work together to create a comprehensive data governance framework that enable us to have effective data management, clear ownership and responsibility, consistent terminology, protection of critical data, and enhanced data discovery and understanding. Following our previous session, we are using AdventureWorks to show how we can use it on Purview. Here we have a main domain that is AdventureWorks. It acts as top-level container for all collections and sub-collections. The main collections, sales, production, human resources, purchasing, finance, are linked with the primary schemas of the AdventureWorks database. And then we have the sub-collections that allows for a more granular organization of datasets, facilitating permissions, management, cataloging, and this structure allows for its expansion in the future. If more collections or sub-collections needs to be added, for example, I don't know, e-commerce, we can put here an e-commerce collection with sub-collections about subscribers, for some buyers, I don't know. But we can escalate this structure and we can add different data sources like Magento or things like this. By implementing this structure in Azure Preview, you can effectively demonstrate how AdventureWorks data assets can be organized and managed in a logical and scalable manner. At least we can talk about the roles, data catalog roles. We can talk a lot about it because I think that it's one of the core features of Purview. But here I want to share with you a quick overview about data cataloging roles. And we have a role-based access control with multiple levels. We have the traditional roles of data governance and then the things that they can do inside Purview. We have support for both users and service principal assignments. And we can use a granular permission management in a collection level. And it's integrated with Azure Active Directory for identity management. These roles work together to ensure proper data governance while maintaining flexibility in how organizations manage their data assets and metadata. And now we will jump to the demo and see what we are talking about. Let's begin our demo. From the portal homepage, we will see how we have implemented the AdventureWorks schema within Purview. Starting with data map, we can use our main domain, ClearPix Purview, that we have here 4 data sources and a lot of assets scanned. And we have created here our AdventureWorks database with all the collections that are pending across it. We have AdventureWorks with the sales collection. Inside we have customer, marketing, orders, and all the schema that we have seen before in our presentation. At AdventureWorks, we have one data source with a lot of assets, and we have realized 3 scans. We can see here the role assignments. Here we have the role assignments like collection admin, data correctors, data readers, and we can restrict the inherited permissions along about it. If you want to have it, you can stay there. If you want to restrict, you can restrict it. So it's very flexible and very easy to know who is using our collections and why. At the other web view, we can see the data sources. We are using the Fabric demo that we have seen in our last session. At this, we have configured the tenant ID, and we have associated this to a collection that it's called, in this case, AdventureWorks, but we can put different types of collections or sub-collections here. This allows us to make a structure of departments, and these departments can use different data sources. I'm thinking about finance, for example. The accounting department of finance can use SAP, and I can have a data source associated to accounting, finance, adventure work. On the other hand, I can have a budgeting tool that it, for example, Hyperion, and we can have a data source that it's connecting to Hyperion, and we can associate it with budgeting. So we can have different data sources and we can assign it to different collections. And this is very powerful. Inside this data source, we can have visual representation that it's a map. Here I have a sample. Here we have AdventureWorks, and I am joining our fabric demo with AdventureWorks. But here, for example, we can have a data governance environment that we can have production and development. And we can put the data sources for every environment that we have in our organization. If we jump to the details of the data source, we can see that we have run 3 scans, 2 completed with exceptions, and 1 completed entirely. All of the scans have details about what is working and what is not working, and we can have a lot of control about our data sources and what is happening on it. If we jump to our catalog, we have created the domains, the collections, the data sources, and we can discover what is happening with our data set. If I explore my data sets by collection, I can search, for example, put a CSV file about the DIM employees, for example. And here we are. We have a DIM employee that it comes from our bronze lake house, that it's working in our fabric service, then it runs in a fabric capacity, in a trial fabric capacity. And for example, we can see in our data set, we can see reports too. And let me find the report that I'm searching for, this. And here we can see the lineage about this report and how it's working. We have a bronze lake house, then we have our data warehouse with an SQL analytics endpoint, and we have this data set, and I can open it on Fabric. And we are jumping to our environment, and we can see our report that it's related with sales. So now we have a domain, we are creating collections with data sources. These data sources have run some scans, and we have the data assets that we have the columns defined. We can go through Fabric, see the reports, and we have all configured to work with AdventureWorks. Now we need to see what have in our catalog and how we can manage all this structure. For this, we have our governance domains. And I have created a governance domain that it's called AdventureWorks Sales. In this domain, I have created, we have a lot of things. We can have roles here too. These roles are more common and more related with data governance. We talk about here about the data product owners, data stewards, data catalog readers. We can manage the security in another way. And here we can define if the status is draft, if we have published it, and we can link this domain with a data product. And I have a data product that it's called sales quota. The use case of this data product is an analysis about sales quota per salesperson. And we have linked it to a data set that it's our report, AdventureWorks report. And these data products are using glossary terms. It's a glossary term that it's employee. And we have this definition not only in our data product, we are using this definition in our CRM, HR CRM, and we can unify this business term with this glossary term, with our data product. David had created this glossary term in the CRM employee, and we are using it in a sales report. And we can define that this is a critical data element because it's related with our employees. And here we can see that we have this data on our CRM, and we have the given name and the surname. So here you are. This is a sample that how we are working with AdventureWorks, how we are managing all the scans, we are in a technical point of view, how we are connecting to the data sources, how we are organizing all of it, and finally at the catalog, how we are creating all these data products and how we can manage it. Now, let's wrap up the series, our session, and maybe next steps or next interesting things that we can think about it. To wrap up the series, we have seen how Microsoft is dealing with all the modern data infrastructures and government that we have now. In the first episode, we have seen the medallion architecture patterns and how Microsoft is dealing with it. Then we have talked in the episode 2 about security and how we can organize our Fabric workspace to be aligned with this security, with the medallion architecture. And finally, we talk about Purview and how we can manage in a point of view of data governance with all of it. I think that it's a 360 vision that Microsoft is making a lot of efforts, and they are putting upgrades and making a lot of enhancement around it. And I think that it's a good moment to begin to work with it. Maybe data governance projects are hard, and it requires a lot of departments and things like this, but we can begin with the setup. We can begin only with the glossary terms or the scanning data sources, and it's the first step to go to the data-driven company. For wrap up our session, we have seen the main concepts of data catalog and Microsoft Purview. And then we have talked about the data map, domains, collections, data sources, data assets, columns. We know that when we arrive to data sources, we have a lot of automatic tasks that it makes our lives easy. And then we have the part of data catalog that it's a business view about governance domain, our data products, glossary terms, and CTEs. Finally, we have talked a little about roles and permissions. My intention in this session was to show you the power that we have managing all of it. And we can talk a lot about roles and permissions, but you can do what you want to do with it. And finally, some interesting topics that we can talk, and if you want to talk about it or we can explain it, put it on comments, ask for us or contact with us. But with Purview, we can talk about the APIs because maybe we don't have 100% functionality on the portal right now. And the APIs, it's a good solution and we can use it. We can talk about how defining an implementation project about Purview and data governance and the first steps to put it in place on the company. We can go inside the data sources because I don't have any time to talk about integration runtime. For example, that when we have third parties, we need to install integration runtimes or things like this. And we can talk about accelerators too, the solutions that we are implementing in our customers to have a smooth implementation of Purview. And that's all. Remember to follow us in our channel because we will make more series. We will share interesting content and we can go deep into particular things that you can have interest. Thank you and see you